All right, let's get this going, fellas and ladies. This is homework 7, or sorry, chapter 7, homework number 1. Okay. Number 6. Two triangles below are congruent. They don't look like it, but you know what? We're going to have to take their word for it. Describe a sequence of transformations that maps one onto the other. Write a congruent statement relating the triangles. All right, so best way to do this is to get one, and you can use patty paper if you have it. But get one to be on top of the other, and then when you write, and then when you do your triangle, the name of it actually should match up. Okay, so my drawing's kind of ugly, but that's that. All right. This is U, V, and W. Okay. All right, so let's see. So what can I do? If I turn this around, it looks like it matches, but it's not, right? It's actually sort of like the opposite. See that? So I'm thinking I probably might need to flip it. So I'm thinking, um, see that 110 right there? I think I need to flip this up and down. So we can do a reflection along the y-axis or along the x-axis. Doesn't matter how you do it, but we'll do flipping. So if we do reflect along the y-axis, then that's gonna be left and right. Right. And then we can rotate this, and I can go. So we can flip this along the y-axis. Then I can rotate this, and look, it looks pretty good now. I can rotate this counterclockwise or clockwise, but oh my gosh, look at that right there. Okay, so I have a matching. So these two are gonna match now. Okay, my letters are a little bit off, right? But it's okay. So um, again, these are perfect now. You see that? Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the X, Y, Z, right? Just do it the way it is. So I'm gonna say X, or let's do this properly. Let's say triangle X, Y, Z, and I went from here to here to here. So I'm gonna do the same thing. So it's gonna be U, W, and V. My letters are a little bit weird because I flipped them and I went sideways. But yeah, so U, W, and V. So I want to say triangle XYZ is congruent to triangle U, W, V. Okay. Describe a sequence of transformations, right? So what did I do? I flipped it and then I just rotate it. Okay, that's pretty much what I did. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and say, oops, wrong one. I'm gonna go ahead and say, I did a reflection across the y-axis, and then I rotated. So I did a rotation of counterclockwise, CCW. Okay, that's what I did. Again, I took this, right? So took this right here. So that's how I started. I did a reflection, which means for me it's gonna be a flipping, and then I rotate it counterclockwise. I don't know how much, maybe about a little over 90 degrees, and then and then you actually need to move it to the right, you need to do translation also. Right, so you can add that in. So reflection across the y-axis, rotation counterclockwise, and you can also write a translation to the right. Okay, so that's part A is do that, and part B is writing the triangle congruent statement. Right, so you need to rewind any of that or repeat it. Go ahead and do it now. Okay, next one. Sorry, I'm eating a peach. I doubt it's from the United States. This is not peach season. Most likely we import it in. The two triangles below congruent. Make a sketch of both triangles, okay? Then describe all the angle measures and all the side lengths. If they're congruent, describe a sequence of rigid transformations that match one onto another. Note, the triangles are not drawn to scale. All right, so first I think I'm going to go ahead and do some calculations, right? I need to find out this side right here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do Pythagorean theorem. I'm going to go ahead and do a 44 squared plus 117 squared. Okay, and that's going to equal, I don't know, but that's going to equal my unknown side. So that's going to equal question mark squared. Right, I definitely need calculators. So let's see. Desktop. I need my right. So I need my calculator. So I need to go 44 squared, which is 19 something. 1936 plus 117 squared. Don't know what that is either, but that's going to be 13,689. Right, so 13,689. And that together is going to give me my missing side square. So unknown or question mark squared. You can use Z. I should have used Z, but I just put in a question mark. Okay, go ahead and add those together. So 1936 plus 13,689. That gets me 15,625. That's going to equal question mark squared. Take the square root of both sides. Now we have question mark is equal to, and all we have to do on our calculator is take that and we do the square root of 15,625. That gets me a nice number of 125. Right, so it says that question mark is equal to 125, and that matches up. So far I'm good. So far, that's 125. Okay, now this other one, I need to see if it matches up. Right, so I need to find out if it's actually equal to 117. So I'm going to use the same thing again. Use Pythagorean theorem again. So 44 is the blue. The green, I don't know. That's the B. And then the 125 is the red. Right, so that's what it looks like. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing again. So 44 squared plus, and I don't know the b, so I'm going to go ahead and just put in this side is b. So I'm going to put in b squared, and that's going to equal, the red is 125 squared. All right, so I need to go through and do all that stuff again. So 44 squared, 125 squared, so I can put all that in. So 1936. So this is 1936 plus b squared equals, and then so 125 squared is 15625. Right, now to solve for b, I have to subtract 1936 from both sides. These are going to cancel, and it's going to leave me with b squared. So now I just get to figure out my calculator 15,625, and I'm going to go ahead and do 15,625, and I'm going to take away 1936. That's going to leave me with 13,689. 13,689. And again, to find out b, I got to do a square root. So I got to square root this side, and then if I do it to the left side, I got to do it to the right side. Remember, the square root is going to cancel the square. That's why we are doing square root. And that's only going to leave me with b to be equal to, so 13,689. Right, so I need to do square root of 13,689. And that comes out to be 117. So I get that it now matches. Okay. So all my sides match, and you know what? For the heck of it, let's go ahead and check our angles, right? All the angles should match. Now, in order for these to be congruent, all you need are sides, and we haven't actually come up with that yet, but that's what we need. But no, let's go ahead and do the angles. Okay, so we have so let's start over. So we know all the sides match. Okay, all the corresponding sides match, but let's check out the angle. So we have a 90-degree angle and a 90-degree angle. We have a 21.61 angle, and we also have a 69.39 angle. Okay, but we are missing a couple, right? So let's just focus in on this one right here, right? This one, this triangle. Right, so we know, you might have remembered this from the middle school, but in a triangle, there's a total of 180 degrees. What we're going to do is we're going to take away the 90 degrees, which is the red one, and then we're going to take away the 69.39, which is the blue one, and that should give us the remaining, which is the green one. So 21.61. So now this says this angle is 21.61, and it actually matches the other one, right? Now let's go and check this one. Let's do it again. Let's take 180, take away the red angle, which is the 90, and take away the 20.61, and that should get us the remaining blue one, which is 69.39, and that actually matches. So this tells us that this angle is 69.39. So there you have it. All the angles match and all the sides match. So they are congruent. All right, describe a sequence of transformation. All right, so how do I make this work? Let's see. Let's go ahead and let's leave the colors there, right? How about we do that? Let's leave the colors. We'll take out the letters or the numbers. Okay. So how do I get this one to match up with the other one, right? Or vice versa? Doesn't matter. Okay, and let me get blue in. This is my blue angle. Right, so I can work it from either angle, either way. Let me group them together. All right, so let's just say the small one, right? So how do I get the small one to match with the um, the other one? Here, well, all I really need, actually, I need to do a little bit more grouping. I need to draw in the sidelines. Okay, so how do I get this one to match? Well, all I have to do is rotation counterclockwise, about like that, and that about matches. See that? They're not drawn to scale, so they won't be exactly the same, but that it's gonna match. So all I have to do is just do a counterclockwise rotation. So are the two triangles below congruent? Yes, they are. Right. So I want to say yes, the two triangles are congruent. Okay, make a sketch. Did that. Then describe all the angle measures. Right. We actually have that on there already. So you might need to write it on here. Okay. Whatever that's missing. Um, right. So whatever that I didn't have, you need to write it in and write on all the sides. Right. So I wrote it down earlier, but they're gone now. So, and if they're congruent, describe a sequence of transformations that maps one onto the other. Right. So we would say the mapping is a counterclockwise rotation. Okay, not sure how many degrees, right? I mean, this is just, we're just eyeballing it, and because they're not perfectly set up flat, so you can't actually tell how many degrees, right? That's that. Okay, last one. J enlarged figure A so that it was similar to figure B. His diagram is shown on the right. What is the scale factor, right? And what is the value of X, and how do you know? So we kind of talked about scale factor the other day, but we just have to set them up, and you got to set them up as a fraction, as a ratio. And you can set up any way you want, just make sure you're consistent. So I'm going to go ahead and do it like this. So I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, this little side is 2, and this other side, which matches it, is 5. So those are corresponding sides. You can put them as 2 over 5, like that. Or you can put it as 2 equals 5. Okay, it doesn't matter how you do it, right? Okay, so you'll see what you will see what I mean, right? So you can put 2 on top, 5 on the bottom, or you can put 2 on the left, 5 on the right. And then let's find another side, right? So let's do the 4 and 10, right? So if we do 4 and 10, so 4 is blue, 10 is blue also, right? And those are corresponding sides, meaning that they are matching sides. So remember, so notice how I started with 2 first, and then I went to 5. So now I'm going to start with 4 and then go to 10. So I can write this as 4 on top matching the 2, and then the 10 on the bottom matching the 5. Okay, or if I do it the other way, um, 4 first and then the 10 second, right? And no matter what happens, um, I'm okay either way, right? Right, so you can kind of set up this proportion, and if you notice, when I do the cross multiplication, I get 20. 2 times 10 is 20, equals 5 times 4 is 20, right? Or I can do 2 times 10 is 20, see? And 5 times 4 is 20. Okay. Um, the scale factor doesn't matter how you do it again, but I'm going to go ahead. Well, actually, scale factor does matter. You got to go from one triangle to another triangle. You can't do both from one triangle. So the scale factor for part A is I'm going to go ahead and do red to red. So it's going to be 2 first, then to the other red is 5. So scale factor is 2 to 5. Okay, and that's it. Now, if you use 4 and 10, it would be 4 over 10 the same order. And notice that the 4 and the 10, you can divide them both by 2. And if you do that, you will still end up with the same thing as 2 over 5. Right? 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So your scale factor is 2/5. Okay? But we'll just stick with 1. Either way that you do it, you will get 2 over 5. So if you do it that way, okay, so let's just say we stick with the reds. Okay? Now we can try to figure out what the x is. And the x is all the way over here that matches up with a 7. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and do this. So I like to do it on top of each other, but you can do it across. It doesn't matter. So you can do 2 over 5 equals, and I started with a small triangle, so I'm going to start with a small triangle as well. 7 over x. Then you just do your cross multiplication. So you're going to go ahead and do 2 times x is 2x. That's going to equal 7 times 5 is 35. I'm going to go ahead and solve this by dividing by 2. So you will get x equals 35 over 2. Okay, or what's 35 divided by 2? Right? Oops, that's 25. 35 halves gives you 17.5. So x is 17.5. Right? That's the answer. All right. See you guys tomorrow.